So I've been working through something. I want to kind of share what I've been working through with you, if that's okay. Of course, it's okay. That's why we're here, right? That's why this is a warrior's understanding. This is my understanding where we are right now. But here's what I want to share with you. What I've been working through. It's a statement that I got, and it came from the book, "The Science of Getting Rich." Okay, and it talks about the reality of being able to see truth despite appearances. And that ability to be able to see truth despite appearances. Because here's the truth. Most of us, appearances are truth. Okay? If it looks like a frog, then it's a frog. Right? And that's how we live most of our lives. And if the bank account is empty, then we're broke. If someone looks like they cheated on us, then they cheated on us. Whatever appears is what we deem as true. But that's so often not the case. As a matter of fact, it's almost never the case. It's almost never the case. And so, how do we see truth in a situation despite appearance? I'm not here giving you an answer, okay? As I said when I started, I'm working through this right now, and it's been racking me it's been racking me over the last couple of weeks, and because stuff happens, and when stuff happens, we typically have reactions and so on and so forth, and so real talk. So a few weeks ago, we lost a big client, and it was unexpected the way it happened, and I understood. But when you run a boutique agency where you keep a small cadre of clients, gaining one is amazing. Losing one feels devastating. Okay? Appearances. And so that happened, and it's like, okay, what am I really seeing here? Because the appearances say, well, your income just dropped, and this happened, and so now it's time to change this, or you can't. Who are we replacing them with? And so you go through all of that, because that's what the appearances tell you. The appearances tell you it's time for you to cut expenses. It's time to do. The appearances tell you that. But what is the truth? But what is the truth? And that's the part that's really difficult to ascertain and understand, right? In this particular case, one of the truths was this gave me and the team time and more freedom to do something that we know we were supposed to do, that we didn't have the time or the freedom to do because of client workload before. This gives us the space to innovate in a way that we didn't have before. That's truth. Now, the appearances look really, really bad. The appearances are like, how do we replace this client? And all of those emotions and feelings that come with that, the angst, the dread, come on now, right? You lose a big chunk of income, that's what happens, because that's what appearances show you. But what's really going on? And it's an incredibly, incredibly hard question to answer. And of course, that's just one example. I mean, it applies in everything. It applies in everything that we're doing in life. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so sure, I gave you an example of the bad there. But on the other side, even when good things happen, so often when something great happens, we look at it and we say, oh my gosh, it's so good. Give you an example of this, and go back into the archives, if you will, back when I used to coach football. In coaching football, there were times when we had really, really great teams, and we used to say that winning was the worst thing that could happen to us. Okay, we had teams that could win national championships, but we knew, or we wanted to think that at times we needed them to lose, because it wasn't until they lost that we could then have them see reality. Because sometimes you're winning and things are great and you're winning. You put the W in that column, and that W in the column forces you to not pay attention to truth, because appearances look great. But maybe there are things that you need to fix. Maybe there are things that you didn't do well. Maybe there's different truth that's actually being told. But the winning masked that truth. Just like losing a client can mask the truth of the opportunity that it afforded us. So, as I said, I don't have answers for you here. I'm working through this, and I mean, even in these circumstances, it's hard, because it's like, yeah, it's hard. Just call a spade a spade. It's hard, and it's gut wrenching, and in moments it even feels fraudulent. In moments it even feels fraudulent. But the funny part about it is, and I just had this, I'm in the midst of this experience right now, is when you embrace the truth despite the appearance, even though it feels fraudulent for a moment because logic tells you you should be looking at something else, what ends up happening is other things start to align and just fall in place that makes that truth reality. I know that part to be true. I don't always know how to get to that, how to align self. And so that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on right now. Just wanted to share that with you. Hope that helps. Hopes that blesses one of you in some way. And maybe you figure some of this out and you can help me. Maybe you got some techniques or some tools or something that can help me as well. Would love to hear from you. Thanks, y'all.